Hello world, Eire here with Saturn's Edge and you're watching more Persona 3 Reload. This one's a slightly shorter episode that's keeping close to a pretty decent runtime. I mean 30 minutes, you know, or close to it. I mean 28 minutes total, 29 minutes total whenever I get this actually finished. But you know, we're back again with this, episode 61. I mean, wow, 61 episode, man. Sorry, brief moment there. Now, in this episode, not really that much big happens. I mean, we are starting off pretty alright with a good, what is it? With a rare shadow, and we're gonna take him down, who is apparently weak to dark, so I mean, we've got a good shot here. But yeah, you know, pretty solid episode, like, lined up for today. I don't really have much I can talk about until we get to, like, you know, more in. But right now, it's just, we're keeping it simple. Rare shadow fight, just do the basics, you know? We haven't had a rare shadow fight in maybe a little bit of time now. Mainly due to the fact that we haven't gone to Tartarus for quite a while. But also the fact that I kind of suck with the rare shadows. I'm not exactly quick about them, and usually I'm only here, like, for 1 or 2 nights tops. So, like, if you really think about it, it doesn't work out as well as it should. I picked out the Justice card here, because, you know, picking one more card from the shuffle time is pretty nice. I thought it would let me pick one more in that exact shuffle time, but no, it's saved for the next one, which is such a shame. Like, that's not anything bad, it's balanced, it's really balanced, but also I'm like, man, I could have had another card, I was so close. So there I was checking the map because I actually had this floor all checked out thanks to the monad door on the previous floor. We have, yep, there's another material there, and I think, yeah, we just went straight for the stairs after hitting a couple things and we were good there. Sorry if I'm a bit, like, slow in talking or, you know, a bit more spaced out in my sentences here. I'm just dealing with a little bit of, like, jaw pain. I don't know exactly why that is, but, I mean, it's something small. I'll get over it soon. Guaranteed I'll be over it by the time that next episode actually exists, or, like, comes out, or anything like that. And it's really not a big deal. It's just something just really tiny I gotta deal with to get through this episode. If the pain ever gets too bad in this one, you're gonna notice a cut. I really hope that there isn't a cut at all. This fight was strange, to say the least. This is not a hard fight. This really isn't a hard fight at all. However, we were able to figure out what the main guy, the main boss of this, is resistant to. We're able to figure out, well, no, what he's immune to, I should say, what type of damage he blocks. We figured out that the 2 hands are actually weak to the dark spells. And that gives us a pretty good setup to where we could figure out exactly what the main guy and the back is weak to. The venomous, I think the word is magus, because, you know, magic, magus doesn't sound right at all. But yeah, I do like the names here one more time. I mean, the names in this game, especially for the enemies, are just kind of like... I looked too deep into them at one point, I really did. But also, I think it was worth looking deep into it because it was kind of like a weird game I could have played. But with this, it's like, I don't have to take it that seriously. Who cares, you know? It's no big deal on my end. Wow. Hold on, I just had to take like a brief swallow there, just a brief pause. I don't know what was wrong with me. I think I just had some air caught in my throat or something. Nothing bad, though. But yeah, here you're gonna see the main complication with this fight. The poison status effect. And you're gonna see exactly why I hate the poison status effect in this game. Now, poison status effects in games are typically treated either as an extreme threat, or something that's just a lot easier to deal with. Something that's easily mitigated by one thing or another, right? In older Pokemon, it was a big threat because it affected you in the field, but in newer Pokemon, it's not big a threat, and you can easily get rid of it with the use of, like, one item. Like, it didn't matter what item you had, you could just get rid of it entirely. Persona has an interesting case to it. Persona's poison works very similar to how Pokemon's poison status effect works, where it takes out a chunk of your health. A predetermined, like, section. Predetermined fraction, that's what I mean. It determines that fraction based on how much health you have, and it takes out, like... No, it doesn't take out how many health you have. Oof, man, I'm dumb here. What I mean to say is that its predetermined fraction takes away based on a couple different factors here. And it can be really bad. The way that the poison works in this is that anytime you do any action whatsoever, you will take that damage. And that damage, if I'm correct here, goes off of your max HP total. So it takes out a fraction regarding your big number. So you saw Akihiko lost 70 HP pretty consistently. And this is done through any action. The use of an item, an attack, I mean, basically anything you do, that poison status effect will hit you. It is guaranteed. Unless you cure it. And there are a lot of ways to cure it. I mean, you've got characters who have spells who can cure it, you know? Minato likely has one somewhere. Or, if you don't have Minato, Yukari might have one. Or someone else might have one at that current moment. And then items, I don't stock up on a lot of them. I don't stock up on a lot of the status effect items because I'm just getting them through doing regular battles. You can see that's becoming a problem. I need to actually take into consideration real items and buying them. And because of this, well, our journey is over. I'm kidding, the episode is like way longer than this, but we actually get to see the game over screen. Finally. 60 episodes. It is really... It's kind of like... Some people go through this in the course of the entire game not seeing the game over screen at all. You could lower the difficulty level, which I didn't do. I just retried. I start over from the boss fight, right? And there's a couple different options there. Now, I'm not saying it's hard to see the game over screen. If you aren't careful like I was, it's really easy to see it. However, by this point in the game, it's not something you're gonna be seeing as often at all, unless you're extremely underleveled, underprepared, or you just didn't do, like, certain things right. In my case, it was a mix of luck and not preparing for the actual poison status effect ahead of time. It was a mix of these factors that really, like, hit me hard and made me, like, second-guess myself and try to take this, like, the retake of this fight much more seriously. And it's actually, like, a really cool, like, little thing that, like, yeah, it is easy to game over if you just, you know, if you aren't thinking, like, smart enough for it, you know? If you aren't thinking in the right headspace or the right strategy, it is very easy to see that game over screen. But again, by this point in the game, you likely know what you're doing. And even if something surprises you, you can mitigate it through the stockpile of items you have, or through just, like, being able to, like, be over-leveled for it, or just beating the boss, or literally anything that isn't just, you know, dying. I really hate the poison status effect in this game. But I am really glad, this was the first death I've ever had in this game. The first game over was specifically due to the poison status effect. It was a good way to show off to me, and hopefully to you, that you need to be prepared, that you need to, like, take things carefully when something comes up that surprises you. You cannot just rush through it. It is not worth it. I really, like, I appreciate the poison status effect for what it did here. Like, it's kind of a weird thing, really. No, it's not weird. It's not weird to appreciate a negative thing in the game design, a negative condition that actively battles the player, it's not weird to appreciate that because it made you do something different, that it made you, like, think a different way and, like, actually take a shot at doing, like, the right move, or the right plan, or the right strategy. It's really good that I had this game over. As now, like, if we note for the future, I just gotta say the words, I'll take it carefully next time, you know? I'll take it carefully. I've got this. It's really cool. I love it. And I'm glad that it was this boss, specifically, that took me down. Not a full moon operation. Not any of the ones from the Monad doors. Just a random floor boss. It's to show you that, like, this can happen at any point. Something like this can happen at any point. It's not that big of a deal. Because it can happen anywhere. And if I'm correct here, I believe we're on, like, the 100th floor. I'm actually really glad that it was on such a high floor like this, because I thought for sure I would have seen the game over screen sooner. I have played, you know, other Persona games, and I've seen the game over screen a lot quicker than I was supposed to. And I'm really glad it took me a lot longer to see it this time. It really goes to show that I've improved. Oh, Nullify Fear. Oh. Well, because that's his last move, we're gonna get rid of Growth 1. We're gonna put Nullify Fear on there. There we go. And Cerberus got Mudun. Medium chance to, of Dark, insta-kill to one foe. Wow, that's gonna be good. There we go. A lot of the, pain has subsided from my jaw now, as I'm, like, talking and recording and being careful about it, really. I'll be honest, I'm powering through it a little bit, but you know what? We're fine. Yes, good boy, Koromaru. There's a reason why I felt weird about saying, like, you know, good boy to him, like, when we first got introduced to him. It's really, I don't know, I think it's, like, a stupid reason, in my case, to, like, be like this. To not say good boy the first time, but this time it's okay. I don't know, in the context of that moment, he was being introduced to us as a party member, as an ally, as someone in our team and friend group. And I felt like it was more appropriate to treat him, like, as an equal, almost as, like, a human being, rather than a dog who helped us, right? And we got the Carnage Knife. Now we can talk about knives. Koromaru! Get rid of the kunai, we're going to the Carnage Knife. Why? Auto Terukaja. Sure, the attack is lower. Sure, the accuracy is lower. But for a knife that temporarily boosts attack, do the numbers really matter that much? It's only like 7 down on attack points and 6 on accuracy. That's not bad. Honestly, I'd rather have the Auto Terukaja to start off with. There we go, finally the 100th floor. Yeah, 99th floor is when I got my first game over. That's something to think about. Oh, it's you. The Wild Drive. I remember encountering you on such an earlier floor. I remember all that time ago. If you remember, he was a very early floor boss back in the earlier episodes. Back, like, way in the early game, before we even got to the first boss fight, the first full moon operation. Before we got to the High Priestess, right? Seeing the Wild Drive again and knowing what his weakness was pretty nice, I'll admit. That felt pretty good. Oh, and I got to choose him, that's right. Now we get to talk about one new persona. Amazing. Kushi Mitama. Oh boy. Now, Kushi Mitama is from Japanese mythology, and he is a part of the, like, Mitama family of personas. You've seen multiple of them before. In Japanese belief, the Kushi Mitama is an aspect of the human soul known as the Wondrous Soul, which appears together with Saki Mitama, the providing soul. which is the power behind the harvest. It is believed to have mysterious powers to cause transformations and to be able to cure illnesses, as according to Shinto belief. That's something to really think about there. But yeah, the Mitama family, this category of what is it? This category of personas, we had Saki, Ara, and Nigi. Now we have Kusi, who's the fourth one. This is actually all four of them. All four Mitamas. We finally did it. We actually got to talk about an entire family of these personas. And it's worth, mentioning one more time. Again, the Mitama are one of the four aspects of the human soul in the Shinto teachings. They resemble the Magatama, but in four different directions, colors, and expressions. Ara Mitama represents fluster and bravery, which describes its angry expression. Saki Mitama is happiness and love, Kusi Mitama is wonder and wisdom, and Nigi Mitama is peace. So we're actually, getting to talk about all four of them here. It's just, a little thing here. It's a little, side conversation. Which is really nice to be able to finally have, enough of them that are in this, I'm gonna put in air quotes here, family of personas that are all related to each other in some way. We're gonna be seeing, at least a couple of these, so I'm glad that we got one of them out of the way. Oh, wait, did we actually pick him? Did we? I think we did. I think we did pick him, actually. Yeah, Orthrus. Orthrus we've mentioned before. Orthrus is, related to Cerberus. In the Greek and Roman mythology, it is a two-headed, kind of dog. One of many monsters sired by Typhon and Echidna. As you know, Cerberus and Chimera were there. Hydra was mentioned at one point, but also the Sphinx is, oddly enough, also related to them. Not mentioned on Cerberus's page at all. Orthrus was the dog of the Titan, Geryon. And let's see here. There we go. And along with Eurytion, was the guardian of Geryon's herd of red cattle. Gurion, Eurytion, and Orthrus were all slain by when Heracles was completing the 10th of his 12 labors. As you know, Heracles is also Hercules. It's a translation thing. Heracles is I'm gonna say Heracles is the correct one. Don't get me wrong, I like calling him Hercules, but that's a Disney thing. I'm blaming Disney for this. But yeah, it's nice that we actually get a persona related to Cerberus, and we get to talk about him just briefly as well. I really like the fact that we, got to spend even a little bit of time talking about that as well. The past episode and this episode has actually given us more personas to work with and to talk about in a better sort of explanation. We see more connections forming other than just where they came from, of Greek and Roman mythology, of Japanese mythology, Buddhist mythology, Chinese mythology, European folklore, or in the case of slime, yes, it's a mix of European folklore, but also complete fantasy, right? We get to see that there are more connections happening between the amount of personas in this game from their mythologies, and we get to see the overlap in so many areas, in design, in story, in all these little lessons and places that I could never have ever learned in a way that I wouldn't I never would have thought about if it weren't for this game. This game has given me a really good perspective on mythologies and folklores that has actually persisted and made me more interested in what kind of stories that are that have existed over time, going as far back as humanly possible. I want to figure out all these stories, this folklore, this the whole mythos. I want to understand, and I have to thank this game for being able to point it out to me to be able to, like, show off these, like, really cool characters and designs and make me interested enough to, like, try and learn where they came from. Really. I love it. Oh, did we also get another new persona that has another different tie? I think we did. Yes, we did. Oh, man. So, it's a little bit misleading because it's MEDB, but here it is. Queen Mab, also known as Mebd, or Maeve, is the Queen of Connacht. Famous for her capricious nature and her many lovers, she wages many wars for the sake of her continued glory. The Cattle Raid of Cooley makes her cross paths with her archenemy. Ooh, that is a difficult one to pronounce. Chulain? Or Kulain, maybe. I don't know. That's a weird one. Who, shamed her numerous times by slaying her pets, warriors, and handmaidens. She is the enemy and former wife of, Concobar Mac Nessa, King of Ulster, and is best known for starting the, Tynebo... Oh, jeez. Tynebo, Quelang? Man, Irish words are very difficult, okay? Scottish and Irish words are very difficult. Wow. The Cattle Raid of Cooley, to steal Ulster's prize, stud bull. Oh, wow, he has the same last name. Don, Quiliang. So, that would actually translate to Cooley, wouldn't it? Because it's Cattle Raid of Cooley, and then Tynebo, that would be Cooley, so it's Don Cooley. So, as I mentioned just a second ago, Queen Mab is from, Celtic, English, European mythologies, and early modern fiction. Celtic is the big, like, you know, thing here, as I have seen her primarily used in, like, she's been referenced in, like, English, like, works, but she does come from Celtic mythology, and it's, like, it's something I've actually caught up on a bit, like, just to understand, after having, like, you know, gone out and explored on my own, really. Yeah. Man. Strong-willed, ambitious, cunning, and promiscuous, and archetypal. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that is a word. I keep forgetting that. Warrior Queen. Believed to be a manifestation of a sovereignty goddess. Meb is described as a fair-haired wolf queen whose form was so beautiful that it robbed men of 2/3 of their valor upon seeing her. And she may have been the inspiration for the fairy queen Meb, found in William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. As I mentioned, she appears in a lot of English works. Romeo and Juliet was one of them. I do remember this very fondly because, you know, Romeo and Juliet was, like, one of my favorite, like, little lessons, little, stories that we learned in English. Because it was, frankly, the easiest one. Yeah. Wow. There is a lot to Queen Meb, and there's a lot to Celtic mythology, like, an actual ton. If you want to take the time and look her up, go for it, because it's a really interesting, like, story to just hear about. And overall, I do find Celtic mythology, like, really interesting, because it comes from some pretty bizarre places. And it actually helped, like, form some, like, really good references, and also some really good stories that have continued out over time to the point where they appear in more modern media as well. Literally, one example is, again, William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. That's not a modern work, okay? But every iteration of that, right? Maybe not the movies. Every written iteration of that, or edition, I should say, has that same story in there, told by, I believe it was Mercutio, who actually says the story, and he's meant to be kind of like a joking guy, specifically for that section. He's telling, like, a story. He's telling a joke, basically. It's really cool to, like, see that, I guess, pop up, and be able to remember that, actually. Because that is such a very small story detail that, like, nobody ever talks about. Mainly because the whole point of Romeo and Juliet is Romeo and Juliet. I mean, like, come on, you know? It is a very small part of the story that you would actually, more than likely, forget about it. And I'll admit, for a while, I didn't remember it because I never thought of Romeo and Juliet again until we talked about Queen Meb. I mean, right there, bam! Ooh, man. Man, I gotta say, I really enjoyed doing this in one take. This whole session is one take. Because over time, as I've been talking, again, the pain has either been flaring up or subsiding. I'm glad I could power through this for you guys and give you another, like, one-take audio here. I know it's not the best way to do things. I know it's really not. Because, frankly, we do need multiple takes, okay? I need a script for some of this stuff, honestly. I should really be writing scripts in the meantime, but I don't. I feel like speaking just randomly, improv, it doesn't matter, is more fitting for this, I guess. I feel like a script wouldn't help as much. Sure, it would keep direction and keep focus, but I don't think I could write a 30-minute long script for every episode. There's just no way. And I don't get... not that I don't get... I guess I have trouble understanding how people do that sort of stuff, really. I don't know how anyone could keep up that sort of stuff, that whole, act, like, so flawlessly. I mean, maybe it's practice perfect, who knows? Practice makes perfect and all that. And I believe we actually took out this bird. I think it's considered a vulture. No, it's an eagle, because there's a difference between the vultures and eagles, that's right. Weak, all-out attack. There we go, let's wrap this one up. There we go. That was good. And here is kind of funny. Yeah, we chose both Arcana cards for the Arcana Burst. It was pretty funny. Now everything is at level 7. And we get to choose 2 more cards, because, yeah, that's funny. Ooh, what did I get? It was money and XP. No? Was it XP? Yes, it was. No? Yes? Yes! Wow! That is impressive, actually, that, like, getting that Arcana Burst allowed us to choose 2 more cards like that, just immediately.
My persona has a new power.
And because of this, we got Mabufula. Medium ice damage to all foes, so we could replace Mabufu. And I think that was the only, that was the only new move we got from the level ups. Cool! Wow. I gotta say, we did talk about a lot in this episode, we really did. I hope I didn't miss anything, because, man, we are, like, pretty much out of time here. Yeah, I'm really glad I could keep doing this, and I'm glad that we got through, I hope, all of this. I hope all of this episode with no loose ends at all. If I didn't talk about something, let me know, and yeah, if I didn't talk about a specific thing, if I happen to miss one thing, let me know, and I'm definitely talking about it in the next episode, because it's more than likely going to be another Tartarus episode. Like, I would love to hear more. I'd love to hear feedback on that. Just to make entirely sure what I'm doing is, like, not stupidly wrong, I guess. Ah, man. But we're having to wrap up things here today with this episode of Persona. I've been Eire with Saturn's Edge, and I really hope you all enjoyed this video and this series and everything I've put out on this channel so far. I really hope you do. And, hey, feel free to like and subscribe. Share this with anyone you know, really. Just share it. And I'll be seeing you all around in the next episode. See ya!